So, okay, everybody, welcome to our NFTs for a Cause, where Carlos and I'm not in my avatar. I'm just going to be behind Social Chats SF because we're going to be promoting this in a different way. We're going to test it out and excited about today's project. Actually, I actually wrote a little short info about your project, and I just want to make sure I got all the information correctly. So before we start, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself and why sharks? Of all things.
Yeah, sure. Okay, well, my name's Rob Kennelly. I'm from Australia, Queensland, and I started this sort of project 18 months ago. My background has been in sort of executive management, obviously in Web 2 companies, from small businesses up to some multinationals. Last role was with a university, managing 3 different business units, all the procurement and contract management, and a few other bits and pieces for the university as well. So that's sort of always been my background, and I got into crypto several years ago now, and just as an investor, just sort of dabbling and getting to know it and understand it, and then I got into NFTs in sort of the same sort of way. And my initial thoughts about NFTs was, what the hell is this? Could even be useful? I had no idea, but once I did a bit of a deep dive and looked at the possibilities, I realized that we could do some interesting crossover with some real world stuff, which I thought was amazing. And I've always been sort of a writer as well. It's been a hobby of mine. I've published a fiction novel in the past, and I love telling stories, fiction stories. So for me, it was about, I had this great story in my head, and I wanted to kind of get it out in a way that could also integrate really well with visual arts and NFTs. And my passion for sharks came from my early days growing up on the Gold Coast in Australia. I did a lot of diving. I'm a qualified rescue diver, and spent a lot of time diving on reefs and artificial reefs and doing night dives and all sorts of things. And I encountered heaps of different sharks, and I just had a fascination for them because I've always felt that they were completely misunderstood, maligned, dramatized, Hollywoodized, however you want to say it. And they were always made out to be the villains. And, all the interactions I had with sharks, it was completely different. And I just wanted to kind of help reframe that narrative and also redress the balance with our partners, on, just the damage that's being done to sharks and shark populations globally. And we're starting to see some real positive changes, but we've just got to hope it's not too late. So that's where the passion for sharks came from. And people still, even now, they still go, oh, but sharks aren't sexy and they're not really cute. And I'm like, they can be. Sharks love a good hug, just in the right environment. So you just got to be very careful with how you do it, and don't do it when they're hungry. So yeah, that's sort of where that came from.
And you have like so you're planning to have, or do you have it already, the virtual aquarium?
Oh no, they're in development. They're in development at the moment. We've got conversations happening with actual real world aquariums at the moment, and obviously the development people who are actually building the sort of back end side of it, which is really quite a challenge in that sense. But we've got some prototypes, we've got some samples which I've done and screen recorded, and they look really, really cool. And it's just about now, completing the sort of contractual side with the actual aquariums and the developers to make sure that everybody's looked after appropriately, because this is, these aquariums are big businesses as well, and their IP is very important. We've got to protect that and look after it. So, and they're obviously also very skeptical of, Web3, as many people are who aren't in it. And so they're kind of like wanting to tread a bit carefully. So we've been sort of massaging that relationship and managing that with them, with our conservation partner, Fins Attached, who is doing a lot of that sort of negotiations with us, because, they're well regarded in that space as well. Oh, have I dropped out?
Welcome, Brent. Welcome, Salty. I was listening to you. My name is Carlos. I'm the co-host. I don't know if Tonya is there.
Okay.
Are you there, Tonya?
She might have just stepped away.
No, I'm here.
Okay.
I really did not hear you at all. Hopefully,
Oh, you
hopefully
couldn't
the
hear what I was
recording
saying?
picked it all up because I didn't hear anything.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No worries. I was like
Can you hear me
thinking
now?
like I want to like interview you in our studio offline too, so I can make sure I have all the audio because your project is incredible. I think I'm more excited than you
Thank
are right
you.
now. I was like reading up. I'm like going, oh my gosh, yeah, because I'm working with some other people too, and someone who's starting an autistic program for her son for learning how to swim, and they're looking for a metaverse too.
Oh, yep.
So I was like, oh my gosh, they could like connect. There's so much in common. So I just thought that I was so excited because I'm actually replaying her interview this tomorrow morning actually, where she talks about her project that she wants to get into the metaverse. So yeah, I'd love to introduce you guys.
And there's lots of great metaverses out there as well. I think there's been a real explosion of metaverses, which is great. But I think that we're going to see a lot of those probably have to either consolidate together or find some really substantial markets to survive. But there's some great opportunities out there to sort of bring together projects and metaverses into one group. And we partner with other projects as well. We're very close partners with Reef Pets, which is another great project. They're focused on reef restoration, which is a habitat for sharks as well. So it's very important for us as well. So we partner with them and we have a cross community and we do a lot of stuff in collaboration with them. We've got a collaboration collection coming out with them. Because we're about trying to lift up a lot of other people in this space, not just ourselves. The more reputable and integrity focused projects that are out there, the more people will see Web3 as a safer investment, which is where we want to get to.
But your company, your organization, with all the different projects you're launching, I mean, you're pretty much like you're an entertainment, but you're giving back at the same time.
Yeah,
was
that's
that
right.
the direction you're wanting to create? Was a platform you're creating entertainment, but while you're being entertained, you're also giving back at the same time. So and also you have different levels of giving back too. Like I know you got some merch that's going to full. I guess it's saying the full sales profit goes directly to fins attached.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we created obviously we want to be a sustainable company. We want to be around for the 5, 10, 15, 20 years time. And to do that, we can't just, we're not set up as a charity per se. So we've got to create revenue streams, and not just revenue streams from NFT sales, but revenue streams from multiple different, mediums. So the whole, it's an entertainment company. There's 3 sort of pillars. It's an entertainment company, it's an education company, and then it's a conservation-focused company. So the entertainment is in our games. So we've got one game already, which is a Minecraft game for the younger audience. It's got 80+ quests. It's an MMO RPG type game, and it's out at the moment, and we'll be adding to it over time. And then we've got our a game which is launching literally today, which is a Surf's Up game board, which is a reward game board for holders, where holders can win ETH just by holding their NFTs. And that's designed to, encourage minting, encourage holding, encourage secondary sale transactions, encourage people to hear about a project and realize that as an investment, it gives back as well to the holders. And then we've got our trading card game coming, which goes in a closed beta testing this week, sorry. And that game is really designed to bring Web 2 gamers into sort of the Web 3, but do it very gently and carefully. So it's not heavily focused on Web 3. It's a digital trading card game, but the NFTs are also trading cards, and you can upgrade them and you can increase their capabilities in the game, and it upgrades the metadata and the art. And then it becomes a more valuable investment for them. So, and the whole purpose of those games is to tell a story. And that's where the adventure story comes in and the lore. So we've got at the moment over 4.5 hours of audiobook adventure story. And that's being produced into comics, of which we've got 2 of at the moment. And the purpose behind that is an understanding the human condition, in the sense that people learn best when they're being entertained. They learn best when they're being told a great story, an engaging story. So, our purpose is to tell them that great story, engage them in the message, help reframe the sharks from villains to heroes, and get them interested in conservation via being entertained, via playing the games, via, all this other stuff. The amount of attention that turtles got, and so they should, from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles back in the day was fantastic, because it brought attention to the species and brought attention to the conservation. So, and it did it through Great Adventure Story, and we're doing the same with the sharks. So, and then obviously we do give back to the conservation. We have our partnership. And we continue to do so through various avenues. So our virtual aquariums will actually have, I think it's 20% of all revenue from the virtual aquariums goes direct to fins attached as well, for shark conservation. So there's the NFT Adopt a Shark contribution, there's the aquarium contribution, there's the merchandise contribution as well. So, and the whole idea of that is, each different avenue still needs to be part of the sustainable business and the company, but it also gives back.
And right now you're at how much are you into your mints right now? You're like 25% right now?
Yep. We just crossed over the 25% mark. Yep.
And is this your first project?
Yes, it is. Yeah. And we're definitely doing it organically. Like we're not trying to attract the flippers and the speculators. We want to attract like-minded people. We want to attract people who are wanting to actually engage with the project, engage with the community, engage with the actual art and story.
Do you see this as something that a grandparent that would buy their grandkids as a gift or as a collectible, because it's so cool? You really look about it, even like a preteen.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we're trying to attract ages literally 7 and up. The comics and the audiobook pair together as a reading tool, because they can read the comic and listen to the audiobook at the same time, and it kind of becomes a reading tool for the younger audience. But parents and grandparents and stuff, they can actually pick these things up as investments that they can give to their kids as great art, but they can hang on to them and help grow over time and get those sort of overtime rewards. So, because the other thing is, holders of the NFTs are actually revenue share. They revenue share in the aquarium sales as well. So for the share that our company receives of the virtual aquariums, I think it's 20% of it goes back to the holders of the NFTs via our on-chain token. So they'll have an ability to accumulate that token over time just by being holders of the NFTs.
And so, you donating 10%, right? Is that it's not a secondary market, right? It's just
No. That's 10% of initial sales. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we've already contributed, obviously, as I think I mentioned to you. I think we've bought 6 acoustic tags and 2 satellite tags already, just over $5,000 worth USD. And the community gets to name the sharks that those tags go onto, so they can actually track them and have the photos and the videos and feel a sense of connection to the sharks. So that's sort of how we do the Adopt a Shark sort of program. So we're trying to create that real sense of connection to the species. So
that is.
I love the way you have them all dressed up too.
Thank you.
Carlos, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, go for it.
Okay. And now that you're talking about the sense of connection, I wanted to comment to you. I mean, should I call Salty or you have a normal name?
No, Rob.
You can use here.
No, call me Rob. My name's Rob Kennelly. Yeah.
Rob. Okay, Rob. That's short for Robert.
So Rob, so tell me something. I feel when people collect NFTs, as it's just like a collectible piece of art, but yet there's the perks that come with it. And the fact that you're creating education with the aquarium, are you looking for any type of grants? Because I know that's a big grant opportunity for a lot of organizations, especially for education or even for anything environmental. Have you looked into that also? Because now, back in 2021, when I was getting into this NFT projects and again, I'm not we're just an entertainment company itself. We just live stream and feature different projects. But also, I always think about when you start utilizing this. Back in 2021, no one even heard of NFTs, right? And now you're doing this type of project. Are you looking in for the future as far as getting grants for your project, giving back, because you're doing education, and also this is such a great education for the disability people too. I
It
saw Brent
is.
here earlier. I
Yeah.
wanted him to ask questions. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is, and we have been looking sort of at grants. We have applied for and received a research and development grant around the sort of the technology side of it. There are other potential grants that we could look at, but the problem is the jurisdiction. Because we're partnering with people in the United States around, aquariums that are set up over there to start with. The developers are sort of, in different places as well, and then there's us. It's tough from a grant perspective to get a grant based on one particular jurisdiction, because it's so I suppose global in the sense of where we're partnered with. And also some of the grants require us to be a charity, which we're not. So I am open to the idea of grants. We have also sort of approached a few people around private investment in the actual company and being a shareholder in the actual company. So we're still open to that as well, because obviously there's a fair few costs involved in the actual setup of these aquariums, which is fine. But certainly open to the idea of grants. But I haven't seen any that we could add to what we've already received that could be applied for based on what we've been doing so far.
Let me ask you something. I just thought about this because, I actually started started a construction company in the metaverse. But so I have two products that I built, two environment, and so I even wrote up ways to rent the environment. Were you able? I know you were able wanting to provide your environment, the aquarium, everything for education, but will you be doing anything to fund some funding for yourself? Because I just think in the future, people are going to rent out environment based on an event, based on they want the kind of parties they wanted to throw or education. I mean,
yeah, no, definitely right. You're absolutely right. That is an avenue that we are looking to also add to it. Each of the actual aquariums, because if we're going to be partnering with multiple aquariums to produce multiple different virtual aquariums, because each of them specialize in different things as well, and often different species and have different exhibits. And by providing each of them, the actual aquarium is able to sell the digital virtual version of the aquarium as part of their own physical ticket sales when they're selling to families and groups that are coming to the aquariums. But we'll also be having a subscription service at a low cost to our individuals as well as schools and education institutions. And that allows us to, produce a revenue stream for the company that is, ensures the stability and sustainability of the company moving forward, and allows us to then add new experiences to that set of equations. It's not just necessarily aquariums. We can actually we can host events. We can do all sorts of different things in those environments, because we then control the environment and we can, tailor it as we wish.
Yeah, I hope you when you guys are ready to launch, I hope you be part of different, because I throw in IRL, I throw big events, and so now I'm incorporating what I do, what I've learned about Web3 in the last few years to my in-person events and make it more hybrid. And I see the time where event planners like myself, we plan weddings, we plan all different stuff. We would reach out to companies like yourself, especially if now I know if I needed an aquarium type of atmosphere or some type of an event that gives that same mood. I mean, I have no problem showing you what I wrote. I literally, I'm getting ready to, I actually on socialchats.co, you can see a couple of my articles, but I'm trying to raise a lot of awareness about metaverse. And as even though it's virtual, but it has value. It brings people together. People spend time together. But if you're able to rent out your environment, because I've discovered, I know how hard it is just to organize it, to make it look, right. It's it's nerve-wracking. So I hope that,
couldn't agree
you feel
more.
value.
Yeah. No, absolutely right. I couldn't agree more as well. And I think that it also allows people to come together more cost effectively from around the world, and also environmentally, because of the less carbon footprint and the emissions and so forth of having to travel to conventions and different things. You can host those virtually and bring people together far more frequently to engage in not just conservation topics, but any topic.
Well,
So
that's why I said you should create like a platinum token or something that includes different
yeah,
NFT, because it gives the opportunity, depending how many aquarium you got, you can turn around and have the part of this is like, let's say you want to have like even 24 tokens, depending, you can do it on the Ethereum chain because it gives them more prestige. And then you can totally have it like that. And then you can say it allows this person with this token allows this, and this. And then they also get, they can get to one evening, 3 hours, one day on this certain day. It's like time sharing. But if you create it like that, write it all out like that, people, it's such huge value. And it really stands out too, because as a business person or a business owner or a sales rep, and you're trying to like have connection and create a difference compared to yourself and someone else, it is a really good tool to have, or a token to have, because it's really a lot of times you do invest on things you believe in, but you do add a little bit more for that extra.
I agree.
Utility.
We do have an OG certificate, which is a 258 piece, a very limited sort of collection, which we use as a access to pretty much everything that we do. If they hold that, they get pretty much access to most things for free. They can mint future comics for free. They can access the aquariums for free. It really is that sort of. It's very similar to what you were just saying. But it's called an OG certificate, and it's available for kind of that purpose as well. So it might be a case of we expand on it to give it exactly what you were just talking about, and add that as an additional feature, so that we don't have to create necessarily a third sort of collection just for that. We can use what we have existing. Yeah.
Yeah, and he said, and with this, you get this.
Correct. Yeah, and people are looking for that value, aren't they? I mean, that's what they're after. I mean, they're not getting NFTs just for the art. They want the value, they want the utility. So it's important that we do give them that.
So that's why I believe in experiential marketing, because people don't buy things to have things. They don't want to own things. They don't want to, like, how many T-shirts can we get in our lifetime, right? But experiences, like creating something, making someone feel a certain way, getting connection, that's worth a lot of money. And that's the way the future is going to be, because we're all like that 17-second dopamine drop, like 17 seconds. Now imagine that if you're able to give a gift to a friend, family, or loved one as a present and as experience, and they love this, it's something they'll talk about all the time. It's not like you're like, oh, I got this lousy T-shirts for my 30th birthday. You can say, oh my God, I had a party in a virtual world at in an aquarium with all my friends from all over the world. They all got dressed up whatever they feel like it, and we just danced, we stood around, we talked, we had fun. I mean, that is the kind of party people would talk about, compared to saying, hey, I just got this T-shirt. Like that's my analogy about when it comes to the metaverse and experiencing, and why people today, we're kind of like over. I'm a Gen Xer, so I'm tired of the like collecting. Yes, Carlos, are you back?
Yes, I'm here. No,
Carlos, you might have to leave and come back, Carlos.
You think so? Okay, I will do that.
Yeah, I think your microphone. Oh, he's gonna leave. I think he has two things going on here. There we go.
Yeah, I do agree with what you're saying about the metaverse and that virtual experiences and stuff. I think it makes a huge difference, even to the point where I would enjoy just sitting and watching, the exhibits, the actual physical exhibits of the through this virtual aquarium space. I think I'd find it very relaxing and cathartic, and I think that people will use these, especially with the VR capability. Once we add that as well, they'll see that as an opportunity for real immersion, in the sense that it's just a relaxing, meditative sort of experience, because and it's almost like being in the water diving with these creatures. So I think that will add, in this fast-paced world that we're living in at the moment, I think it'll give people an opportunity just to sort of sit back, relax, and just sort of immerse themselves in a natural setting, even though it's virtually, and kind of get something from that. So.
I'm here testing.
Carlos.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now it's okay.
Can hear you. Yep.
Okay.
We got ya.
I don't know if this idea will be useful or not, but since I read this concept, I mean, I've been working all my life with comedy, but also advertising, and in the world of advertising has been helping and being just like a consultant. You know, sometimes some customer time they want to do a phony TV ad or a radio ad, and sometimes it happens that they have creative people in the agency, but to get a very good piece of humor advertising requires respecting the real rules of humor. I mean, not just being eccentric. And I did love the concept of sharks are not villains, they are heroes. I mean, or turning the perception that people have of them as villains to heroes. And I just came up while I was listening to you about the different things that you have been developing, because I actually I saw that you have grown from you were, this is here, okay, something I know. You evolved from an NFT project to a multi-channel brand, Aquatic Metaverse and Blue Chip, and even a game and stuff, the red trading card. And I came with the idea of, could it be possible to develop an actual game where the objective is that you start with villain sharks, that you have to turn them into heroes through the game. I mean, the purpose of the game is that I have a token. I mean, I am playing with shark number 3. Starting, everybody has villain sharks, okay? And through, just like, do you remember Trivial Pursuit? Just like talking about the real facts about the good things around sharks. It's just like that you are into a race, an educational race, that the first one to get more good facts about is the winner. Because I made my shark a hero before you all, the rest of the people participating in the game. I don't know if that scheme will be useful, but I think that, because I know about the problem of the sharks. They, since 1975 Jaws, that they were what, like a monster by Spielberg, and everybody is profiting from the scare that they cause and stuff. I am 62 now, and I was raised watching the animals as animals and people as people. But now the last 5 years of Instagram, little pictures, and have taught me that, hey, animals are persons in another body. I mean, I see souls in their stares. I mean, I haven't seen so closely the eyes of a shark, but I'm pretty sure that if we could do it, we could find that kind of internal animal soul so pretty close to the human soul. So I think that one of the most important changes in going nowadays in humankind is that you are noticing, and you are more people are getting to be conscious that we are not actually separate entities. But when I was a kid, it's like all the educative system was, very interested in creating and marking the separation. You're like, here we are the humans, we are superior, and here we are, in the other side of the fence are the animals, which are inferior. We are the masters of the universe, and they are our slaves. But it's not like that. Come on, when you see a little dog and a duck embracing each other, there is a wonderful, and I finish with this, I adore something that I guess it was recorded in South Africa. An elephant was trying to going up in a mountain, in a construction site or something, and the guy with the excavator did help the elephant and pushing him gently over the top, so the elephant finally could make it. The elephant turned back, came close to the excavator, actually rubbed the trunk with the excavator. I mean, it was just like something like an incredible animal with transformer love. It was a miracle to see that. I mean, the elephant was so grateful. And I think that the sharks are like that. And I think, my question will be, what are the main things that transform a shark into a hero instead of a villain? Which will be the main points around that concept?
Yeah, that's great. I love the analogy with the elephant too. The thing with sharks is they're vital. They're an alpha predator, apex predator, and they're vital to ocean health. Like any apex predator in any environment, they are important to the ecosystem's health, and sharks are the same. Humans have this bizarre method of kind of attacking things we fear.
Exactly.
We don't like being afraid. We attack the things we fear, and we destroy them. And it's really sad because ultimately sharks have an important place in the ecosystem, and they've been around a lot longer than we have. Hundreds of millions of years, and they don't deserve to be hunted to extinction just because we're afraid of them. Because when we're in their environment, we're not the alpha predator. We're not the top of the heap, because it's not our natural environment. And I think that in that scenario, we've got to get over that fear. We've got to get past it. And in many ways, yes, I'm trying to create a hero view of sharks through adventure story. I'm trying to create that through the comics. I'm trying to create that sense of empathy with them. And the only way you can really do that with humans is to create some kind of humanity within the sharks, which is why we sort of cartoonize the sharks a little bit. We dress them up. They've got they talk amongst each other. They partner with the mermaids, and they are trying to do good for the ocean and other species. And when you start to think of them in that way, you start to give them those human traits and those human mindsets. And that, yeah, it's not 100% real. Obviously, it's not real. But the point is that it creates that empathic connection. It creates that connection. And it stops us hating them. It stops us fearing them. And I think that's what's important. And then we can look at the physiology. We can look at their what they do for the ocean and their environments, and how they play an important part in that ecosystem. And we can study them and learn more about them. And then we could do so in an environment which is, built around respect rather than fear.
Yes, I totally agree with that. And I also remember the old famous story of this little surfing girl who lost an arm because of a shark where she was surfing, and she came back to surf again. She overcome her fear or her trauma. And I remember one interview, I don't remember where I saw her talking, and someone used the word attack. It's like the shark actually had attacked her. I said, hey, come on, that was his house. I mean, that was his territory. I mean, I was invading. I mean, I didn't have any bad intention toward him, but hey, he was there first for millions of years. And his grandparent, the answer of that girl was so wonderful. I mean, he actually lost a full arm, and because of him, and do you know what I mean about the change of perception in the humankind? Maybe the same girl 20 years ago will have been, just like, I will never go to a beach again. I will never surf again. I will hate them. And she will be an advocate for, resuscitating Amity Island terror, just like in Joe. But no, her approach was so incredibly human and respectful of the animal. Even when the animal took an arm of her, I mean, I was totally in shock. I cannot forget that. I will never forget that.
Yeah, 100% agree. And it's all about the language, isn't it? The attack language. Sharks sadly don't actually have arms and legs like they do in our comics and adventure story, and they've only got their mouth. And when they're trying to work out what something is, and they're trying to, test out what it is, they can only really do it with their mouth. And sadly, they have a very strong bite force. And when they test something out, often if it's a human that it's on the other end of that, then we're going to come off second best. But that's no different to lions, tigers. There's heaps of other alpha predators out there that, polar bears,
Exactly.
and it's the same scenario. If they want to find out what something is, and generally they're bigger than us and stronger than us, and it's going to hurt us. But that doesn't mean that they're a bad animal. It just means that they're in their environment. They're trying to suss out what stuff is. So, and I think that lady was Bethany Hamilton. who lost her arm. I think that was who it was. But yeah, absolutely. You know, she never took a backward step. She never blamed the shark, which was great. And really, there's been a lot of movies. Even the writer of Jaws has regretted writing Jaws simply because of the negative impact it had on shark populations. So,
and I'm totally shocked, and I will leave Tonya with you again. It's just like I couldn't believe. I was doing a little bit of research for this show, and I discovered that some voyagers they are pretty in love with the whale shark and the basking shark, I guess, has trophy species, and they can pay $10,000 to $20,000 for a single fin. How come that price can be so high? I mean, it's terrible for the sharks in this case. I mean, I think that these seafood products are one of the reasons they are being chased, and that's another, obviously, a way to protect. I mean, there is a need to protect them seriously.
There is. I'm not against. I'm not against fishing. I'm not against sustainable fishing and legal fishing, but shark fin fishing, sadly, has not been done sustainably, and it does cause massive issues with many species, which is good because they've actually passed that Shark Fin Elimination Act in the US at the end of last year, and our conservation partner was heavily involved in that lobbying and so forth, and that makes it illegal to not just sell shark fin but also transport shark fin through the US, which was a major transportation hub of shark fins that were being fished illegally and being sourced illegally and sent to Asian markets. So it's a good thing. At the end of the day, it's a great outcome. There's been a few great outcomes recently, but there's a lot of work to be done because there's so many of these species that are on the verge of extinction and severely threatened. So a lot more needs to be done, especially the great hammerhead, which is an absolutely immense and gorgeous creature and so not a threat to humans at all. And yet, you know, it's all but extinct, which is horrific. So,
go ahead, Tonya. Maybe.
No, I was trying to get my emoji going. I was like, yes, I love that. I love that. So you wouldn't for some reason, I just kind of like your messaging, your content, everything, your connection, giving back. Are you like? Am I going to see like a video of some kind live streaming on Netflix about your project or about a cartoon show? I mean, it's a thing these days. Have you ever thought about doing something like that, or has anyone approached you?
Haven't been approached yet. We do want to turn our comics and adventure story into an animation series. Absolutely, 100%. That's one of the goals. Been one of the goals for a long time. Understand, obviously, that the costs involved in that are substantial. We have talked to a couple of people about potentially doing like a proof of concept animation section of some of the adventure story, but that's even that's very, very expensive. So I think that ultimately the best course of action for us in this regard is to acknowledge that animation is not our strength for our company per se, and it's probably better to license the story and the comics and the concept to an actual studio like a Netflix or a Disney or one of the others, license that to them and allow them to produce it, because that is their strength and that would be a better outcome for us. And yes, we would still get the licensing revenue from it, so the company would benefit, which would benefit back to conservation. But it's not really about that. It's about getting the messaging out there.
Yeah, I think licensing is better because it's really difficult. I mean, in our TV station, many times there were attempts of using animation, and my goodness, that's a whole universe. I mean, it's really complicated. You need a lot of experience. I mean, you cannot start from scratch for doing animation. You cannot just, I'm going to get a bunch of friends and let's do it. No. That takes a lot. It's just like when Jim Henson made the Muppet Show, which was a total global hit around the planet with these wonderful guests and stuff. He already had 26 years of experience at PBS making Sesame Street. Okay, so he knew a lot about the troubles of using puppets in that way, that he developed all his innovations. And even that line story lasted like 20 years when Frank Oz was performing Yoda at the Empire Strikes Back. And there was a lot of experience, I can tell you. So in animation is the same kind of trouble. So you need people with the know-how, the tools, and the experience.
Could not agree more. 100% agree with you. Yeah, and that's why we're looking to partner with those studios. We're not looking to do it all ourselves. That's for sure. Our story, our multiverse story, we've got huge amounts of content for this that we're slowly building out and releasing. And it's not just about the sharks. The multiverse, the mermaids, the sharks, the other species that come into the storyline. I don't want to give anything away yet, but it's a huge ongoing sort of story and multiverse. There's going to be, hundreds of chapters of story and adventure story, and all of those will be produced into comics, and then hopefully with the right partner, and animations as well. And I can see this being a multi-series, as popular as Street Sharks used to be, and as popular as Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It'll be the next iteration of this. But it'll be sharks and mermaids, and it'll be really. I think it'll be really popular. So we're absolutely open to talking to the right people. We just need the right people to hear about us and see us and come and have a chat with us.
And the anthropomorphizing, I think I don't know how to spell the word, but the kind of anthropomorphing of the sharks is wonderfully commercial and wonderfully attractive. I mean, I love the pirate one. And the purple one beside the girl. I mean, this kind of making them look somehow human-like. It's something very, very important for these kind of stories. You cannot, you should respect the animal, but you also have to adapt to the reality that the story where the main character is forced to only move exactly like a real shark moves will be very limiting to the story. So you actually need, it's just like the Ninja Turtles and stuff. I mean, you have to create more freedom of movement, and you can give yourself a creative license that can give you more freedom to the storytellers to write greater and more dynamic stories for you. I think this approach is wonderful. I mean, I adore the oh my goodness. English is my second language. And I learned it with Mad Magazine. Anthropomorphization. You got my idea anyway.
Say that again.
Absolutely.
You need to say that again one more time, Carlos.
No. Thank God you didn't have to say that 5 times in a row, because I will leave the room.
You did it. You did it really well. And
thank you.
Credit to you for that, for the second language, because I don't think many people could do that. So, very true. And it's humanization, isn't it? That's what connects to audiences, and that's what, at the end of the day, animation studios or anything else, they want to sell the animation, they want to sell the story, and the best way to do that is to have that humanization connection with the audience. So, and you're right, it gives more freedom of movement, more freedom of storytelling, more freedom of adventure. So, our first adventure series is actually called The Adventures of the Salty Seven, and that's the first series where the sharks go out and they go on a mission with their mermaids companions and stuff. And it's really quite interesting and engaging. And that's the first double episode of that is comic issue number 2, and that's available for release very, very shortly. We've got 22 of issue 1 comics to mint left. And once those 22 are gone, we're going to release issue 2. And there's only 150 of issue 1. And part of that is to create a real sense of rarity to owning those comics, because you own the full rights to the comics in terms of the one you mint, you can sell and print, and you can make money from it as well. So by creating such a very small number of minted comics, it doesn't stop the story from getting out there. And it can be, published on mediums like Kindle and everything else. But it means that those who own them actually get value out of them as well. So, which is also important. So, but yeah. So
yeah, well, I think of merch. I mean, I think like if you own your NFT right out, I mean, you literally can create. I watched it, the what is it, the Bored Apes? That somebody made up a whole restaurant out of one ape. So I mean, I see it's just the sky's the limit, especially as part of the smart contract. I mean, if you have it all written out and stuff, so it's an exciting project, and you're doing and having fun and giving back at the same time, and it's also such a community building too, and also it takes a really special like I have friends that like love the ocean. They go and clean the ocean. They do all kind of stuff. Do you see yourself partnering with any nonprofit down the road or something? Because like, and where I'm at, there's this company that goes out and they have this machine that picks up all the plastic. Oh my God, I just forgot their name. They're from here. They went to FAU. They're like, they're pretty famous. One Ocean, is that it's called? I think it's called. But they clean the ocean. You know what I'm talking about? They picked all the plastic out.
I do. Yeah, I do know them. We are partnered with Fins Attached already. They're a non-profit research for sharks conservation, and we're also partnered with Reef Pets. And Reef Pets are setting up their own non-profit as well around reef restoration and also ocean cleanup as well. So, absolutely, it's important to us to be part of these more holistic solutions, and not just sharks, but ocean restoration and cleanup as well. It's all interrelated. So.
Especially recycling and everything too.
Yeah, correct. And getting rid of those single-use plastics and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. One other thing with the story, then, I just want to mention this because I think it's a really cool feature. NFT holders of our NFTs can have their NFT included in the story, adventure stories. And because each NFT is individually named, and they can rename it to what they like as well. And then that NFT, I write those into the stories, and those holders are paid a royalty for that in ETH. So, and it means that their NFT becomes a part of the adventure story and becomes a part of the comics and eventually the animation, and that's a real sense of connection and ownership to their asset as well. And I think it's something really cool that you can give this to your children, and I've got 2 young daughters. They can have and own that NFT as well. And then when it eventually comes out in the comics, how cool is it to have your NFT, your character, in the comics, adventuring with their other friends and so forth, and then in the animation series as well. I mean, it'd be like owning Raphael from the Mutant Ninjas, like the Ninja Turtles, sorry. It's a really cool feature, and it's something that we've been doing since we launched, is making that connection to our holders real. So.
Exactly. And that's a very important point and a very important factor.
So it's about 66 minutes. I want to go ahead and wrap up this space. Is anyone in the space want to grab the mic? You're welcome to. Adam, you're here, and I'm not sure if you're still here, but if you want to have any questions. But let's do some closing thoughts. So, Rob, give us some closing thoughts, and how long is your mint going for, and what is your process?
Yeah, so the mint's going to be ongoing for as long as it needs to. I mean, it's not our focus. We would like to mint more, obviously, because it gives us more funds to work with on some of the development activities, but it's not critical. And ultimately, we want it going to the right people. So the mint is still ongoing. It's on the Ethereum network. You just need to have a mintable account, which is just an email address and password. Connect your wallet up, and you can mint. The reason we're with Mintable is the cheap gas fees, because even on Ethereum, you're only paying like somewhere between 60 cents and $2 in gas, which is much, much cheaper than anywhere else. So that's really important to us. But, it's about, we've been around 18 months now. The business is growing. We're continuing to add some incredible utility. We've got the new game launching today as well. And the trading card game is coming, which is going to be absolutely epic. It's a fantastic trading card game. So I would suggest that if you're interested in shark conservation and you're interested in great storytelling, then get involved in the community. Come and meet the people that call it home. And we've got an incredible family-like atmosphere in our Discord. with people that just, we talk about them and their lives. We don't talk about the project all the time, but just a great way of the community coming together. And then you can be part of this ongoing, evolving company and story and conservation effort.
So what days are you guys in your Discord?
So say that again.
What days are you in your Discord channel? And do you have a set time?
No, all the time. Every
all
day.
The time? Wow.
Every day. And if I'm not asleep, I'm in the Discord as well. And many of our community are there as often as they can be. It's not, it's not a case of, I know some Discords are like, hey, when moon, when this, when that, it's not like that. Our community is about getting to know people. It's about the games that we're playing. It's about because we play Discord games that are unique as well. It's about the getting to know people, and it's about the messaging and the ultimate conservation efforts. It's not just about the investment. So that obviously is a conversation topic, but it's not the only thing. So a lot of jokes, a lot of fun, a lot of getting to know people.
I just love the fact that you can you have the audiobook accompanying the comic, and I saw the part where it says you can listen to the audiobook along while you're reading it. I mean, that's great for kids. That's a wonderful educational tool.
Yeah, one of our holders, his wife is a school teacher, and she actually printed it out and made it available at her school for her classroom of young children to actually read and listen to the audiobook. So that was really cool. I'm glad people are enjoying that. It's also an access tool for those who are visually impaired.
And let me tell you that I think that's the only actual way that you can, for example, I am 62 and I have been reading all my life on paper and ink. So when this PDF thing appeared, and that's 20 years ago, and I started the possibility of reading books that I love in this digital way, even with the Kindle and Amazon, that it helps and stuff. And I discovered something. I will always prefer paper. I will always prefer a good hardcover. As Ray Bradbury said, there is only one thing better than the smell of a book, and it is the smell of an used book, an old book. It's just like that. That smell is still better than a brand new just coming in from the bookshop book. But the only way I can contrast or counterattack, the fact that I am so cold and I cannot actually swipe the pages is reading. I discovered that I can get some books in YouTube, and I can get the PDF version, and I can actually listen to them, and I speed it to the top. When they are reading, because my eyes will always read faster than the sound. Okay, so I can read faster than I used to read with paper, because there is now this electronic thing forcing me to follow the reading, and so I focus more, I concentrate more. When for working reasons I have to read something, now I read it with this double punch, watching the PDF text and listening to the audio. So it helps me to go faster. It's the best speed reading system that I know. If I am calm, like tomorrow, here is the workers' day, things working. Okay, I will come. I would prefer my paper book, but it is a good tool, definitely. And for example, my kid, he has autism, and for reading sometimes, he speeds things too, and they are very fast. They have trouble learning some areas where the areas they dominate, they are amazing. They are amazing with them. So thank you for coming. I'm going to say my bye in my name, because I know that Tonya likes to be punctual, wrapping up things on time. So Rob, a real pleasure. God bless your project and all your team. I adore the images, and I adore all the things that you're preparing at the same time. I wish you the best of lucks, and I hope you to see growing the faster you can, with the best of the lucks for you. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you for coming, man.
Thank you, Carlos. So we'll be restreaming this out to our other channel, and also it'll be uploaded to our podcast, and it'll be put onto our podcast platform that we are streaming on also. And again, I want to say thank you so much, Rob. I appreciate you for being here, and I'm excited. I'm going to send you what I wrote up, and then once we finish editing everything out, get your approval before we publish. I'd like to do some feature on my internet magazine that I'm working on launching. So I appreciate everyone for being here. And before we let you go, Rob, can you tell us how to get a hold of you?
Yeah, absolutely. You can get hold of me via email, hello@saltysharks.io, on Twitter, Salty Sharks NFT. DMs are open. And yeah, I'm easily accessible. And obviously in our Discord as well, there all the time. So feel free to join that. We have a link tree from our Twitter, so you can get access to our website and all our socials. So please come check us out and come say hi. And yeah, look, thank you so much for having us on the show. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to working with you.
Yeah, same here. I look forward to just following your growth and just everything you're doing. So again, everybody, thank you so much. I'll be back. I'm going to be in my Crypto Guide Louis Music NFT. Will be there at 8 p.m. tonight. And again, everyone have a great day. Appreciate you. We'll be back next Sunday for another episode of NFTs for a Cause. But we'll be streaming this episode out, and also it will be uploaded to Spotify and distributed all the channels we got up there. So again, thank you so much, and have a great day, everybody. Appreciate you. Bye.
Bye-bye. We all like